Hey everyone, and welcome to the finale of From Dreamers to Disruptors here live at Next 2026. I am joined by an amazing panel that combines Medidata and our Dassault System partners, and so let's kick this off and as we bring it all home. So Tom Doyle, Claire Bio, Patrick Johnson. I'm excited to have you guys here today. I'm excited to be here with you. You're the experts in the area.
Too. Thanks, Lisa.
Yeah. It's good times.
Thanks for having us.
All right, so as we're saying, we're bringing Next to an end. It's been 2 amazing days. Give me a little bit of a vibe takeaway. So Tom, you've been on the floor, you've been talking to your engineers, you've been talking to the folks from our customers that have been coming together. So what's your one memorable moment?
I mean, it's been a great week. I think the most memorable thing is just how much excitement there is for the possibility of the future. So the AI innovation, all of the work that really collectively our industry is doing, we're really starting to see how that's coming to life, how it's moving from concept phase into actual impact phase. I think everyone is looking at like what's next, how can they have the biggest impact? And conversation after conversation, you hear almost that same thing. So that's really exciting.
It's moved beyond what if it's possible or could it be possible too. We showed it on screen. Now, how are we going to get that in your hands? How are we going to do the change management?
How do we do it faster?
How do we do it faster?
Give me more of that.
That has been a regular occurrence, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
mainly directed at you.
No one has said, hey, Tom, can you do that slower? That would be really great.
So Claire, you have been engaging with industry leaders. You've been out on the floor. I've seen you talking to pretty much everybody. What's been the spirit that's really come across to you?
I think it's obvious that we are the key catalyst for our customers to achieve precision medicine at scale with empowered patients. And precision medicine starts with patients and it's driven by science. And we could feel this week that science is fueling our R&D solutions, that we're using sensors to define new digital biomarkers, using AI to de-risk trials. But now precision medicine doesn't hit patients if you don't do it at scale. And we operate at scale, 8,000 clinical trials as we speak. And finally, we do this for patients. And you could hear so much about the patient insight board, and this patient insight board is actually very helpful in telling us these little things that could actually prevent patients from enrolling or staying in the trial.
That's right, and that's one of the key drivers, is how do we drive patient awareness of clinical trials as an option? How do we drive the trust that's associated with that so they bring themselves to it? I think it's such a key factor in this. I've been so glad to see you out on the floor. So Patrick, you come to us from a science and a research perspective, and that has been a buzz in the other room at all of the booths. What are your big takeaways? What are you hearing? What are you seeing? What do you want to make sure everybody leaves this event with?
Well, I think I have 2 takeaways really, and massively from the plenaries. It was a reveal to me that we are the only company that really efficiently deliver at the same time an end-to-end business platform and a truly scientific platform for clinical research.
Yeah.
I mean, this connection from early stage down to manufacturing, this is a reality now. What Tom demoed on stage with Anthony and yourself, it was a reveal because it was not only performance efficiency on the current processes, it was also catalyzing new processes, new ways of working, always with biology, chemistry, physics, understanding of diseases, with the patient at the center. And if you look at the customer reaction, I mean, it's more than adoption; it's excitement. It was intense as plenary
It was
session.
palpable. I mean, when you're on stage, and we had a lot of time on stage yesterday, there are some crowds that, you give a lot to them, but they're not kind of giving it back. Everything we gave out there, we were getting tenfold back. You could feel the excitement in the room. And I think you're right. It was a reaction to what they were seeing on the screen, like you said, that is real, that's coming to life. They could feel it. But you teed me up for something perfect, which is, when we think about Dassault, when we think about Medidata, Dassault has been in the virtual twin space, in aerospace, in manufacturing, in automobiles, but now we are saying it is time, it is here, we are bringing it to the human body. What does that mean for you and how you guys are approaching research, what it means for us and how we are tangentializing that?
It's very central. And in fact, we've been doing and walking the talk without really saying it, and now we're ready. A twin is really a 360 view of all data, knowledge, and know-how that you need either to understand the mechanism of action of a drug or to conduct a process of clinical trials, whatever the complexity it is, or to manufacturing and bioproduce the drug. It's really the embedding, if you will, of all the knowledge and know-how from the industry, which I guess we have accumulated with the more than 30,000 trials that you guys master. So this is what we called virtual twin, and they rely, today generative AI buzzword, on world models. Those are really the 360 understanding. And so we've been injecting that in the industrial processes, and of course, we are injecting that in organs, in twins of the bodies, in cells, in tissues, and those clinical trials are going more and more to evolve towards simulation. It's not so much a system of operation, it's a system of prediction to be able to optimize a protocol, for example. And so those are exactly the science DNA that DS is injecting on the Medidata solution, and the twinification and twin of sites.
Twinification, I like that.
Twinification.
Yeah.
Twinify me.
Well, and I think, if you go back maybe 2.5, 3 years ago even, when you're thinking about, is this going to be a reality and a possibility, like you said, of that, it feels palpably different now, the reality of, can we actually run trials in this way? Can we actually run it through these, virtual twin dupes? And I think what you're saying is it is here, it has arrived.
Tom demoed a trial simulation, a test population simulation to optimize. This is a twin. It's not anymore only data analytics. It is really a cockpit to steer your protocol design and to steer your trial execution.
Do you see how he tied in the plane there? Yeah, that happened.
Exactly. It was visible.
It was visible. So Claire, when we think about the end-to-end ecosystem, we touched on yesterday this idea of supply chain to manufacturing, how much Dassault plays a part in 80% of drugs that are FDA approved, 50% of medical devices that are out there. What's your perspective from industry on that?
So, today, clinical trials are the bottleneck to bring a new drug to market, but the goal is to go twice faster. Now, if that goal is met on the clinical development side, the bottleneck will be, how do you manufacture that drug at scale? And so if we want the drug to be able to reach the patients, you really have to adapt the way you're going to produce your drugs. And here we come into play by building the virtual twin of the recipe. To some extent, it's like cooking. You need ingredients, equipments, and if I'm going to transfer that recipe to you, for example, a chocolate cake, you want to be able to feed the thousands of people who have attended NEXT, and my recipe is for 6 people. So how do you scale this? For this, you're going to use the virtual twin of your ingredients, your equipments. You're going to see how it fits into a facility, and we're moving from that time when you had one line for one drug in one site to modular facilities that you can rearrange like Lego bricks to adapt to precision medicines, which means that you're going to have smaller batches for fewer patients, and so wider variety of drugs that are produced in one site.
I don't know that we're trusting him to cook. I haven't seen it come to life.
Just don't give me any more chef hats.
If I share with him the virtual twin of my recipes, I think he's able to cook, no problem.
Fantastic.
Because I'm going to share with him not only knowledge, but know-how.
Knowledge
I'm
and
quite a
know-how.
good cook, I will have you know.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yes.
That's good
At
to
least
know.
I
When
think
are we
I am.
invited?
Yeah.
Well, that's a different story.
You've never brought treats to the office. I'm just going to observe.
Okay, right now my limit is but baby food. So.
Fantastic. So let's get to your day-to-day skill, which
Yes.
is making the interoperability come to life, the connection, the bridge between these topics we've been talking about. What does that mean for you in terms of what you've seen today, but what your teams are working on?
Yeah, I mean, there's been a ton of work in how we can accelerate each of the domains that we are investing in early drug discovery, in drug development, that comes from BioVia, of course, in clinical research and metadata, and really elsewhere across the value chain, including in manufacturing. What's really exciting is we're now starting to see a real opportunity to connect them in ways that would be very difficult to do before. Some of that is the maturing of process, some of that is maturing of technology. A lot of it is the maturing of the virtual twins, though, and their ability to connect and interact. Not dissimilar from now the new ability of agents to intersect and interact that start to connect bigger and bigger processes.
Yeah.
That will be a lot of the focus as we look into 2026 and 2027 beyond.
Which of those do you think is the biggest accelerator? Like, what's the one you're most excited about?
I think the one that's going to be most impactful in the short run is the interaction of agents, is the interaction of virtual companions, the sort of connecting bigger processes. It's the one that people will like see and touch and they'll feel, and they'll see entirely new ways of interacting with technology that seem much more natural. It's very likely that at the end of 2026, people will look back and think, I can't believe I ever used to work in that other way. Like that will come. But the biggest disruptor will be more what we understand from the underlying like virtual twins and data. That's going to inform future research, power new medicines. It's just those things will come later, and people won't necessarily know that they were derived not necessarily from like wet chemistry. They came from more in silico work and stuff like that.
Yeah. So I'm going to like lead the room with this next one. We've got our research and our science perspective, our industry perspective, our technology perspective. I'm going to go out on a limb and say this gives us and our customers an unfair advantage if they're engaging with us in that way. Tell me why you think that's so.
Who starts?
Go for you. Yeah.
Well, the ability to explore, to do what ifs. The real purpose and the real utility of a twin is not to duplicate reality. It would be a digital twin.
Yeah.
We do a difference between digital twin
Explain that
and
to the
virtual
crowd.
twin.
Yeah.
Digital twin is like a photo.
Okay.
It's just a digitization in 0 and 1s of something. You digitize a document into a PDF. A virtual twin is not that, because in a virtual twin, you can explore alternatives, things that are not existing yet. So you can explore in the virtual world new ideas.
Yeah.
You can explore alternatives in the protocol design. You can explore modification in inclusion and exclusion criteria. This is what we do, for example, in external control arm. They are synthetic, based on real data, but you can explore. And now with the power of ModSim, you can do experiment treatment arm, which is a new way of using the virtual world and the prediction, but now with the pathology and a new drug candidate to evaluate the efficacy or the toxicity with simulation. So this is what we mean by virtual. It's really exploration, what if alternatives, to do basically a system to conduct, to steer your study, to whatever discovery, research, process development, tech transfer, clinical trials, manufacturing options, and so forth. This is a cockpit to steer at the executive level and in all divisions in a company.
Fantastic. Yeah, Claire.
I can bounce on that because
Please.
I think the second big value of the virtual twin beyond simulation is that it's going to radically change collaboration.
Absolutely.
Our customers suffer from silos, and it's silos horizontally. How do you foster collaborations across different departments, but also vertically? And so the question is, how can you, from the boardroom to the decision maker, and how can foster decision making? And if something goes wrong at a time during development, let's say I'm screwing up with a batch, how is it going to impact the clinical trial? Because I don't have any more supply. What are the alternatives? So I really want to foster collaboration between CMC, clinical, manufacturing, quality, and that's the power of virtual twin.
It's a hugely differentiating factor, bringing all of those together. I mean, it's just a different way of thinking about how we can get from concept into patients' hands. Yeah, Tom, your thoughts?
Yeah, first, I really like the way that Patrick described this. I would really like that photo that I could make myself a little thinner, maybe add a little bit more hair.
Come to my lab.
Perfect.
I also have some needs
Come
personally.
to my lab, he says.
But I think that the part that where I started was what was most exciting about the Vibe is how much work and how much is already going on. So I think of all of what we're doing, but also what all our industry is doing and all of our customers are doing. And together, that I think will really unlock some really new potential. And that should also be a big part of our focus. It's not just the investments we're making, but the collaborations we're building to extend that out into a broader ecosystem, whether that's the agent to agent, whether that's bringing together more and more data to build a better 360 view, to build richer and richer virtual twins. It's really a partnership, I think, opportunity for us as an industry to really unlock an entirely new era of innovation and research.
Absolutely. So on that idea of innovation and research and something new, so Patrick, it's cast your mind forward. It's 2027. We're back here. We're sitting at our table. What's something that today is out of bounds, tomorrow in 2027, next year is just standard operating procedure?
Protocol twins.
Yeah. I agree.
protocol twins. You take a current definition of a protocol, it's a PDF today. And with AI and dot product, we saw it's almost there. It's next year. You upload that in Medidata platform, and it generates a configured platform and system to operate and execute. So no need to go to IT, no need to go the tedious work. It's from the document to data master and execution system ready to go. So I think it's not that far.
Yeah.
You say project, but it's next year. It's already in the oven. And this is what I think will change the way people are looking at in terms of clinical trials.
Yeah, I was having dinner with one of our customers 2 nights ago, and he was listing me his 5 things that he wants to make sure that we, as a partnership, can make happen. And his first thing was, I think we can be building studies with AI.
Yeah.
And I said, well, you're going to be very excited tomorrow. And I'm also not sure why you don't know that we're doing it right this
Exactly.
minute. But I said, this is a process thing now. I said the tech is available. Came out in November. Let's get going. And I think you're right that by next year, this time, we're going to be wondering why we were even still building them, by hand.
It's going to
at
be
this point.
a next SOP, a next standard operating procedure for trials.
Yeah. So that's a year away, but we know everybody's moving faster at this point. A year is too far now. A year is too slow. Like you said, everybody wants faster. So Tom, 6 months from now, what is the can't miss opportunity that you guys are working on, that it's like, this is coming, be ready, and start getting yourselves ready?
I think there's 2 of those. So one of the...
No, I gave you 1.
No, but I'm going to answer with 2.
You could take 2.
The first is the can't miss opportunity is the adoption, the really embracing of a new way of working. The thing with innovation is it requires people to get excited, fired up, and turn it into something real, turn it into something in practice. And that doesn't happen in a software development lab. That doesn't happen in 350 Hudson Street. That happens out at sites and out all across the world and at sponsors and CROs every day. And so the faster we can get to really embracing new way of working, that we better be far along in the next 6 months. I think the other that from a technology point of view should be there is everyone should be doing protocol optimization and everyone should be doing AI study build for sure. There's no reason not to. And everyone should be looking at new ways to explore their data using new AI capabilities, whether from the Medidata platform or in collaboration with Medidata and others, to really unlock those secrets from data. That is very possible today.
It is. It's possible. It's here, and it's a must-do. Right before we came in here, we were talking to some folks from our Site Insights board, and one of them brought up that idea that at the sites, how often they get protocols that are not optimized, that are the opposite of that is creating that additional burden on the sites that we talk about, that they know is creating burden on the patients, that is slowing down the process, that is collecting too much data that isn't a part of what we actually want to analyze. So I agree, if you are not working with a protocol optimization tool that is using a virtual twin that is ready to allow you to simulate what this could look like going forward, you are falling behind and you're doing a disservice to your sites at that point. Yeah. So we'll go to the group with the question that everybody's been getting this week. What do you dream to disrupt? And we'll start with Claire. I don't think you've started us yet.
So what do I disrupt next? I want to help humankind achieve sustainable access to quality care for all. Why does it matter? Well, today, a third of the worldwide population doesn't have access to essential healthcare, and healthcare is not sustainable. Healthcare expenses grow twice faster than GDP. And I think one way to sort this is to actually promote value-based care. So measure the outcome for a given patient, because you don't want to pay for treatment, you want to pay for a good outcome for the patient. Why is it so hard to achieve? Because you need to bring the entire ecosystem together, the payers, the patients, the physicians, etc. But that's why I'm dreaming big.
Yeah.
And I think that Medidata has definitely a role to play in the broader Dassault system, because it starts with being able to measure outcomes in a simple, trustable manner. And who better than Medidata can measure clinical outcomes in a scalable way?
Amazing. I love it. Patrick, what do you dream to disrupt?
I have 2.
You can also have
Can
2.
I?
You may have 2.
So the
Ooh, then
first-
I get 3.
Well, start
There you
thinking.
go. See, it's a business model.
It's a business model.
I have 2. The first one is really I'd love to do for the life science industries what we have been achieving successfully for the adjacent industries, which is moving from document-centric systems to something which is really, as I said, a cockpit to conduct and steer businesses with twins. Today, clinical trials are mostly run on document workflow and stuff like that, and that was okay for the last generation of clinical trials. But as we say, because of the numbers of constraints, the fields of the burden of the job, of the expertise, now we need to explore alternatives, optimize, and therefore you need simulation in the play. You need big data understanding, AI, coupled in a very intimate way with a way to modelize and simulate the different options and prescribe the right one.
Yeah.
And all the industry is begging for that.
Yeah.
And so time is now for the twin of sight, twin of protocols, twin of trials. And so my dream is to do what we've been doing for the automotive, aerospace, industrial equipment, which is to help them move from a purely document-centric approach to something which is a next generation steering cockpit.
You know, it's interesting. There was my favorite quote this week. We'll give you guys a little insight into what goes on behind the closed doors. But one of the quotes on stage was, "No one goes to medical school to write documents."
That's it.
And it's exactly right. How do we get them moved beyond it?
And the second one, and still research,
Yeah, you're number two.
is, of course, there's a lot of scientific challenges and stuff, but I do believe that as a complement to EHRs and EMRs that we still leverage, you know, the real representation of your health, not only when you're sick, but even when you're in good health, the lifelong engagement journey with Twin as a proxy of yourself, as a representative of yourself, mobilizing the mod, the sim, or biology understanding. I think that's the next generation of twins for health. And I think we even are going to go, it's not embedded systems like what we have on watches and wearables, and Sensor Cloud is a very good offer for that, but we'll have embedded twins that we will wear and that will alert us if something comes, and in a new prevention setting. So that's my second.
I love it.
Bet.
All right, Tom. First, flag us with how many, and then
I'm going to keep to one.
you're going to keep to one.
I'll follow the rules.
All
this
right,
time.
fantastic.
I'm going to go from a different angle, though, as I think Claire and Patrick has really covered some awesome areas that really could be revolutionized. I want to talk a little bit about the interaction with some of those and where I think there is still more disruption to have. And that's in the way that we consume technology and the way that it supports, helps, works alongside us, is there all around us. This is changing at a very rapid pace, the humanizing of technology, the way it is becoming more supportive, a companion that works alongside you, that starts to work more autonomously. This is an area I think I really want to focus on of what does that mean both in clinical research and beyond. First, what does it mean for researchers? What does it mean for data managers, for everyone in the clinical ecosystem? But most importantly, what does it mean for patients? And how can we bring some of the new technology, whether it's behavioral science, whether it's new user interaction models, how can we do that creates a much more frictionless or seamless experience for people? There's still a gap between what we can build and how we like to use it.
Yeah.
And I think that deserves some real closing.
I love that. That's fantastic. You guys have been amazing. We're coming to our end now. I want to thank Claire and Patrick and Tom for joining us. As we say goodbye to our audience from Next, our final episode of From Dreamers to Disruptors at Next, I want to remind you, and this is the first time I have ever said this in my life. I'm very excited for this. Please subscribe on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, your podcast listening device of choice. Be a part of it because we are speaking to industry giants. We speak to, as we said, disruptors. People are thinking about the next big thing. Please join us at the next year or at any of our global events. But we've loved having you here. We've loved being here with the crowd. The live event is really, really neat. But we want to thank folks, and we will see you later. But thank you and goodbye from New York.
Thank you.